What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Stardust here. Welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel. But today we have a really cool little video. I'm here with Slip Shark, one of the most glorious Pokemon YouTubers in the entire world. Do you want to say hello, my friend?
I feel like the introduction is a little bit overvalued for me, but hello everyone.
There's a lot of pressure I've just put on your shoulders now,
I know, right?
Because I'm going to put you in the description, and people are going to come over like Pokemon, the best ever, and then you've got a lot to perform with. But I mean, to be honest, if people watch me, they're definitely going to enjoy watching you, so it's not really an issue.
Appreciate that. I appreciate you putting me in the same league as you, Mr. Sir.
S tier. Okay, so what we're talking about today, everyone, is obviously we all know that Marvel Spider-Man 2 is now releasing in fall 2023. I did cover this a couple of days ago, but none of you actually saw it. So, that's not what we're talking about today, though. We are talking about a little thing that people were worried about. So, on my screen, you'll see that I've got this little good luck card from Marvel Spider-Man 1. Now, there's a name on there, Eddie Brock, right? Now, people were thinking to themselves, oh my god, this is Venom, let's go, let's do this, right? Despite it obviously being Harry. And then they saw this underneath the article, which says Venom, brackets Eddie Brock. Now, before we get into that, I want to ask you, Slip, do you think that Eddie Brock is going to be in Marvel Spider-Man 2?
So I feel like Venom in general is going to be a community symbiote. I do think that, Venom is going to be in a lot of areas, and probably towards a final boss, I think the Venom that we fight will be Eddie.
Okay. See, I've been struggling with that concept because I find it really strange how, obviously, because the only thing we have about Eddie at the moment is that he's a name in a card, right? In a collectible card, at that. Obviously, we all know Eddie Brock. We all know that, if they wanted to just shove him into the game, people would be fine with that. I'd be fine with that. But obviously, we know they're really trying to, hone down the story, right? That's why we haven't just got Green Goblin straight away. Despite them making it very obvious that's probably where Norman's going to go down, right? Because we saw it in the penthouse and all that. So them just kind of randomly shoving Eddie Brock into the sequel and then having enough time for us to really care about this version of the character straight into Venom just seems a bit sudden for me, right? Because Marvel Spider-Man 1 was obviously gearing us up for something to do with Harry. We've had 2 post-credit scenes where Harry's obviously covered in a symbiote. Like a made one, potentially. So it would be weird for them to just be like, okay, the final boss is Eddie, who we know that Peter's probably got less of an emotional attachment to than Harry. So that's why it's a bit weird for me to think of it that way.
I mean, okay, so let's. Okay, I guess let me revise that then, because we know that they don't shy from keeping the same. Let's go say same villain, but rehashing some of the villains for a different thing. I can see the symbiote not not ending in Spider-Man 2. So let's say that is a big fight. We got Harry. It's just like you want a big fight. At this point, we still have Peter, which would have came in contact with a symbiote, probably still just a little bit rigid, a little bit, upset, because they did say they wanted to have a little darker path for this one. So I can 100% seeing him either like Spider-Man really hurting Harry, really bad, putting him back in the, have to be put back in the tube, and that drives Norman to be the Green Arrow and just be on Green Arrow. Jesus,
Green Arrow, different universe. Jeez.
Hey, listen, I was looking at the Green Arrow. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
The Green Goblin and Spider-Man 3 being right on his bumper, and we get a maybe post credit, so to speak, of the symbiote going to Eddie, and that way now we have 2 really big villains for Spider-Man 3 that, even though we did fight Harry as the Venom, I don't think that people will be mad that we get another symbiote, or Eddie Brock fully in Spider-Man 3, and maybe halfway through it, which started to sound like Spider-Man 3, the movie, where eventually Eddie Brock is on our side through the middle of the game.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah, I can see that. So I was speaking earlier to Ethan. For people who don't know, on the YouTube side of it, Ethan's a friend. That I don't think that Venom is just gonna appear in this game and then just magically vanish and that's it. We never talk about symbiotes anymore and all that stuff, right? It's not gonna be, because as we know, they very much like to sort of be like, yeah, this thing happened. So in Miles Morales, obviously we had Rhino come back. They're not afraid to do that, which is good because that's very comic-y, right? Villains, wow. Villains reappear all the time in stories, even so much as it's like this villain shows up here, then they have one story break and then they'll appear again. So it makes sense for them to do that, but I think that they would it'd be very interesting to sell that though, right? Is that like, okay, so Eddie Brock is kind of in the second game, but he's building up towards it. And then you have Venom Harry, and then you have Venom Eddie in the third game. Would that not be overkill? Do you think, or do you think people would be like, well, no, because it's Eddie Brock, so it's okay? Like,
So I think it would be overkill if we don't get to play him as a character.
okay, yep, I agree with that.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like, and that's kind of where I'm going with it. Since we have, like, eventually we're going to have Miles and Peter split off to a point where they kind of just have their own games. We know Spider-Man 2 is going to have both of them, possibly. I don't think that we're going to continue that trend of having both of them in the same games all the time. So Spider-Man 3 can very much have Venom in it with Eddie, and towards the middle of the game, or even towards like 1/4 or 1/3 of the game, you get Eddie as a playable character first as like anti-hero, and then towards the end you kind of do both with he's helping you with Green Arrow, Jesus Christ, Goblin again.
I think that
And
I think there's definitely a really big, like, emotional story if they like. So okay, so in a universe where they don't bring Eddie Brock at all, right? And we play as Harry Venom versus his father as the Green Goblin writes itself, right? That's kind of perfection right there, right? And a part of me doesn't want them to derail that potential clash, which I maybe we've seen before, but probably not. Like, as in Harry Venom versus his dad as the Goblin. I don't know, man. That like sounds really exciting to me, and I wouldn't want them to just derail that for the sake of like Eddie Brock fan service. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I think the fan service will see. So I guess it's a give and take. The fan service will probably ease the fact that we have Venom a second time in a major game, but like realistically, who are we gonna have at that point? We already have Mysterio? Or no? Am I tweaking? I think I'm tweaking.
I think you're tweet. Well, I mean, Mysterio popped up in the high school party in the first game, but wasn't actually Mysterio. It was like a teenager dressed up as Mysterio.
Okay, so then we already have like a quote unquote Sinister Six in this game, or in the first game. So it's like they're going to be trying to top that. So we going in with, let's say, Venom in its entirety here. If we beat him and he comes back again to be a nuisance for us as Harry, and then make him our ally by the end of it to go against his father, I think that might be a little bit fatigue versus people. Like, I guess it'd be fatigue in a sense of that's not what they really want. They really want Eddie.
Yeah, I understand that. I think that at the end of the day, when it comes to whether Eddie Brock's going to be in the game. I think it's more like a wait and see situation, because for everyone who's looking at this article and they say Venom brackets Eddie Brock, unfortunately I did a little bit of research on that. The reason that that's probably there is because there's no Venom brackets Harry Osborn, or Venom brackets Matt Gargan, or Venom brackets your mum. Like, there isn't anything like that. Like, it's just Eddie Brock. So for the moment, that doesn't really mean much, but I mean, a lot of people want Eddie. Obviously, Slip's made good, compelling arguments for it. I've kind of made arguments, not necessarily against it. Like, if Eddie Brock's in the game, I'm not going to cry about it. I like Eddie, but there's definitely stories for both sides. Which, let me know down in the comments what you would like to see in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Slip, I appreciate you for jumping on this video today. It's been super fun, super quick though, and it managed to get me over 10 minutes. So, ching. No, joking.
Up, you know what it is. Like, after 10 minutes, we good.
After 10 minutes, we can do whatever we want now. So, just say what you want, really. As long as you don't get me cancelled.
All right, guess what? No.
I fully expected you to drop some like absolute bombs there towards the end, where so the ending would be like, all right guys, and then it just cut out.
Just have to edit it all the way out. No, I wouldn't do you like that, man, because I enjoy watching your channel. Make sure you guys watch more of his channels, man. Everything. The shorts that they be doing, amazing. I love them.
The shorts I've been doing pop off, to be honest. Like, you ain't got to worry about them. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video today. Be sure to subscribe to Slipshock. He does great content on sort of mainly Pokemon at the moment, but I'm sure you'll dip your toes in other stuff as we get closer to it. But thank you all for watching. I'll see you in a little bit, and peace.